It had been exactly 363 days since Ethan died. Not that I was counting. I didn't need to. My body remembered every part of it. Like grief had a calendar of its own. I hadn't opened our old chat since the funeral. The messages were still there, of course. His dumb jokes. His midnight voice notes. That last, "See you tomorrow, bro," oncoming fist the night before the accident. Tomorrow never came. Ethan died on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. Skateboard in hand, earbuds in, doing what he always did, pushing his luck. The truck driver said Ethan darted out of nowhere. No one blamed him. Everyone blamed the rain, the music, the timing. But I blame myself, because I should have been there. He asked me to come out that day. I said no. Too much homework. That was the last thing I ever said to my best friend. I didn't go to school for 3 weeks after the funeral. My parents tried everything. Therapy, time, distractions. But none of it filled the Ethan-shaped hole in my chest. And I never opened our chat. Not until last night. It was around 2:07 a.m. I remember because I had just set my phone down after doom scrolling Reddit for no reason. Then it buzzed. One new message from Ethan. I stared at it like it was a joke. Like my eyes were glitching. Ethan. His name. His profile pic. Still the same goofy photo from 9th grade where he wore vampire teeth to school on a random Wednesday. I felt sick. I didn't open it right away. I just stared at the screen, frozen. It wasn't possible. His number was still saved, yeah, but the line had been disconnected. His mom even changed her number months ago. The message said, "Still up?" I swear my entire body went cold. I opened the chat. The message was sitting there. Plain. Real. Time-stamped. 2:07 a.m. I didn't respond. I couldn't. I just stared, waiting for it to disappear, waiting for my phone to crash, waiting for the universe to correct itself. Instead, another text came. Been thinking about that day. You were supposed to be there. I dropped the phone. No exaggeration. I actually dropped it. It hit my comforter and slid onto the floor. I sat there in silence, heart pounding like a drum in my chest. This wasn't just some friend messing around. No one had access to Ethan's number. His mom had shut down his phone plan after Memorial. I remember her crying as she told us she couldn't bear to hear his voicemail again. So, who was doing this? I picked the phone back up. The message was still there. My hand was shaking. I typed out, "Who is this?" The typing bubbles appeared instantly. You know who I am. I stared at the screen for what felt like an hour, and then, as if to prove something, to stab a little deeper, the next text came. "Check your drawer." My skin crawled. I looked around the room, heart racing. Every noise in the house suddenly felt amplified. Every shadow darker. Every silence heavier. The drawer. My desk. I hadn't touched it in weeks. Not since the school year ended. I got up slowly, barely breathing, and opened it. Inside, a photo. One I didn't remember putting there. It was a Polaroid. Me and Ethan 2 summers ago. At the boardwalk. He had cotton candy all over his face, and I was laughing. I didn't even know this photo existed. And on the back, in Ethan's handwriting, messy, tilted, all caps, were 3 words. "We're not done." I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the Polaroid until sunrise. The handwriting was Ethan's. I'd seen it 1,000 times, scrawled across birthday cards, notebooks, and the back of his sneakers. You can't fake that kind of messiness. That kind of him. But the picture? I still didn't remember it being taken. I checked my phone again. The messages were still there. Every word. Unchanged. Whoever, whatever, was texting me. They weren't done. At 7:14 a.m., just as sunlight hit my windows, another message came. "Meet me, same spot." Same spot? I knew what it meant immediately. The skate park. The one behind the rec center. It was where we always went when life sucked. Ethan called it the dumping ground. He said that's where we dumped all our stress, our anger, our secrets, and that was the last place I saw him alive. I got there around 7:45. The park was empty, quiet, just dew on the concrete and a few cigarette butts near the benches. But when I stepped onto the ramp, I heard it, the click-click of wheels rolling on pavement. Far off, then closer, then silence. "Ethan?" I called like an idiot. I don't know what I expected. A ghost? A prank? My own voice answering? But no one replied. Instead, I spotted something near the rusted vending machine. Something blue. It was his hoodie, the one he wore that day. The navy blue one with the frayed cuffs and an "Oh Fear" written in permanent marker across the chest. I picked it up slowly, hand shaking. It was cold, damp with morning air. Real. Inside the front pocket was a folded napkin from Sal's Diner. He and I used to go there after every skate session, split fries and laugh at old people playing poker at the back tables. The napkin had something written on it. Again, his handwriting. Still thinking about that conversation we never had. My stomach twisted. How was this happening? I looked around, heart pounding, suddenly aware how alone I was. But it didn't feel like I was alone. It felt like I was being watched. Not in a horror movie way. In a quiet, personal way. Like someone missed me. I went home without telling anyone. Hid the hoodie in my closet. Put the photo back in the drawer. I didn't know what else to do. I told myself I was losing it. That grief was finally catching up. That maybe I never let go and now my brain was dragging me back in. But then, that night, another text. "You remember the box?" My blood ran cold. Not just because of what the message said, but because of what it meant. Ethan and I had a time capsule. We buried it behind my old house before his family moved. It had dumb stuff in it. A Hot Wheels car, candy wrappers, an old flash drive, a letter we promised not to open until we were 30. I hadn't thought about that box in years. I moved 2 years ago. No one knew we buried anything there. It was just our thing. Our secret. "Go there," the next text said. "I left something for you." I didn't want to go, but I had to, because a part of me still believed it might really be him. And the rest of me was too scared not to find out. At 11:03 p.m., I walked to the backyard of our old place. The new owners were asleep, no lights on. The patch of dirt near the oak tree looked untouched. I dug with my hands. Quiet, fast, and then I felt it. The corner of a plastic shoebox. I pulled it out. Same duct tape, same faded label. Open when we're 30. But now, someone had already opened it. Inside, there was no candy. No toys, just a folded note. It read, "You're almost ready." No signature, just that. And underneath the paper was another photo. This time it was just me, sleeping, in my own bed, from last night. Absolutely. Here's part 3 of your story. My best friend died last year, then texted me last night. I don't remember walking home that night. I don't remember closing the back gate of my old house. I barely remember climbing into my bed and staring at the ceiling until my vision blurred. All I could think about was that photo. Me, sleeping. Taken from the corner of my bedroom. From inside the room. There was no denying it. It was recent. I was wearing the same hoodie. Same sheets. The time stamp in the corner? 2:13 a.m. The same time Ethan had first messaged me. So, someone had been in my room, watching me, photographing me. And if it wasn't Ethan, who was it? No reply. Not for 5 minutes. 10. Then a message appeared. "Remember the flash drive?" My stomach dropped. The flash drive from the time capsule. The one we put in there when we were 14, filled with old photos, videos, inside jokes. And that's when I remembered something. 1 week before Ethan died, he came over. It was late. He had that nervous energy he got when he wanted to say something important but didn't know how. We were watching some trash zombie movie on mute, making up dumb dialogue, when he suddenly got quiet. Then he said, "If something ever happens to me, promise me you'll remember the cabin." I laughed. What cabin?" But he just stared at the screen and said, "You'll know when it's time." At the time, I thought he was just being weird. Now Now I was beginning to think Ethan knew something I didn't, maybe even before he died. The cabin had to mean the one we used to sneak off to, his uncle's broken-down hunting cabin deep in the woods, about 20 minutes from town. No cell service. No neighbors. No one went there since it caught fire a few years back. But a lot of our best memories lived there. I hadn't been there since the accident, but I went. I didn't tell anyone. Not my parents. Not anyone. I packed a flashlight, a jacket, and a hammer. Not sure what for. Protection, maybe. Confidence. Maybe just because it felt like the kind of thing you take when you're walking into a place where the rules of normal life don't apply. I biked half the way, hiked the rest. The trees got darker the deeper I went. And when I finally saw the cabin, it looked exactly the same. Burnt, crooked, collapsing into itself. But the front door was wide open. I stepped inside, slow, careful. The air smelled like ash and mold. Leaves covered the floor. An old mattress lay rotting in the corner. And then I saw it, in the fireplace. A shoebox, not melted, not burned, just sitting there, untouched. I pulled it out and opened it. Inside, the flash drive and a handwritten letter. This one was longer than the others, folded in thirds. Still Ethan's handwriting. Still that familiar tilt. It read, "If you're reading this, then something went wrong. Or maybe it went exactly the way it was supposed to. Either way, you're close. But you don't know the truth yet. So here it is. The accident was an accident. And I didn't die the way everyone thinks. I knew someone was watching us. Me and you. For months. I saw things. Glimpses. People who weren't really people. Shadows that whispered. They only came when I was alone. But I think they were trying to show me something. That night I died, I wasn't alone. There was someone in the street, waiting. Not a man, not a kid, something else. I tried to run, but it wanted something. I think it still does. And I don't think it ever left. If it starts talking to you, don't believe it. It can look like me, sound like me, but it's not me. It never was. Don't let it in. Burn this box. And whatever you do not plug in the flash drive. I froze. My hand was already on the drive. That's when I heard it creaking from behind me. I turned slowly. Nothing.